All right, so in this video, we are going to talk about numbers, and I'm going to give you some study tricks and study tips to help your child with math. So, Dr. Ben Carson, he gave a talk on PBS, but I actually saw this talk on YouTube, and it's called Brain Health. And one of the things that he addressed was that a lot of people think that they are not good at math. And I am paraphrasing here. His thought is that everyone can be good at math. Math is just a subject where it's like a building block. Everything builds on one another. So you learn one concept and you take that concept into the next lesson and it goes on and on. Where people get stuck is that they may go over a concept and they may not fully understand it. And a lot of times in school, if a child does not understand a concept and the next week the teacher has to go to the next math lesson, the child is lost. And a lot of times, we tend to blame teachers for this, but honestly, a lot of teachers have 25 plus kids in their class, and it's really hard for a teacher to pinpoint whether a child is not getting a concept unless it's test time. And so that's where us as parents, we have to get involved and make sure that our child is practicing those math problems and make sure that they understand. And also, ideally, we would want our children to raise their hand in class and ask questions. But a lot of times, kids don't say anything because they don't want to seem like they don't know what they're doing. They may not want to look, you know, I don't want to say dumb, or they just don't want to look like they don't know what they're doing in front of their classmates, or it could be that they're shy. So ideally we do want our children to raise their hand, but a lot of times that does not happen. And actually I have a story. This happened to me even in college. When I took AP Calculus in high school, and then in college, I took a beginner's calculus class. And I remember that first class, I'm like, what is this? I thought I took calculus, but there was a disconnect there that, something that I didn't learn in high school that I was supposed to know for this introductory class in calculus. And like most kids, I didn't go to the professor. I was around all these smart kids. I didn't want to feel like I didn't know what I was doing. So that is just something that a lot of kids go through. So one way to solve this problem is called interleaving. And interleaving is doing a mix of different kinds of math problems requiring different strategies. So when learning something new in a book or maybe from a teacher in school, usually that teacher or the book is going to pinpoint that one concept. So if your child is learning multiplication, they're going to have a whole bunch of problems on multiplication, or the teacher is going to go over a whole bunch of multiplication problems in class. But as your child continues to study multiplication, if they keep practicing and they master multiplication, if they keep practicing it, it's well learned, and that could result in overlearning. Now, overlearning is very beneficial, like if you're trying to execute a tennis serve or you need to practice a concert piano piece for a recital. But studies show that with math and science, overlearning can be a waste of valuable time. So here's a better approach. So once your child has the basic idea or has mastered a certain math concept, have them practice with different various problems. So, for example, if your child is learning multiplication, have them practice some multiplication problems, but then go back and give them some addition problems, some subtraction problems, even some division problems, and that is called interleaving. And this can be difficult when learning things in a textbook in school or from a teacher because, like I said before, the chapters and the teachers, they tend to focus on that one lesson or that one concept. But there are ways around this as a parent with doing interleaving. So one thing that you could do is that, like I said, while your child is learning multiplication, just give them various problems in other math concepts like subtraction and also addition. And then also this just helps the brain when you're doing interleaving it helps the brain to know not not only how to solve the problem, but when to use it. Like if they're doing a word problem or they're working on a unit test, the brain has to shift gears between doing subtraction, doing addition, borrowing, carrying, etc. So doing that with their homework is going to help them on tests and on tests, or also when they're taking those end of year tests to switch gears when they're doing math. Also, one thing that you could do is that if your child is working on, let's say, section 5.4 in class, make sure they do their homework, but then you could have them go back to 5.3, 5.2, then have them go back to 5.4. So that way they're doing just different types of problems. Also, you can give them word problems, and it could be something that's fun for them. Maybe include family members' names or include their favorite singers or sports figures within that word problem. You can make it funny and make sure that you are including just different operations that they would need to know in school. Also, a lot of times with math, some of us parents don't know how to do the math. That could be a way, to look up various concepts on YouTube, or there's various math apps that you can look up, and they have people online that are teaching you certain concepts. So have your child take it a step further. If they can't get to the teacher, if they're shy about asking the teacher, look online, and that's great because they're getting another perspective on how to do that math concept. So I hope this helps with math and numbers. Like I said, interleaving is very important. Just make sure that when your child is doing math that they understand that concept, because 9 times out of 10 they're going to use that concept in other math lessons that they're going to learn in the future. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.